Hey everyone, today I've got your Daddy's Home movie review. A family's real dad is coming home and it's up to the stepdad to make a good impression on this guy. But will it all be worth it in the end? As far as the story goes, this movie has the other guy's stars returning once again for this dad versus dad comedy. I also find it interesting how Adam McKay, who produced this movie, had previous, work with other Will Ferrell movies. It is kind of interesting that we're seeing this same formula once again, Will Ferrell and comedy. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I wouldn't say I'm like a huge fan of these guys per se, though they have had some good films and some bad. I feel like with this movie, it kind of had me on the fence at first, and I know this movie had been out since Christmas, and it's taken me this long to see it, and I'm pretty sure there's a good reason why. And I feel like it's kind of a generic comedy in a way. As far as the casting goes, Will Ferrell, he plays the stepdad in this movie, and he's sort of trying to get along with the family and the two kids with his new wife, and now all of a sudden he has a bigger problem to deal with the original dad coming into the picture once again, and they kind of don't want this to happen because he's kind of a troublemaker. To have Mark Wahlberg in here, I think it's really interesting to see how you have somebody who's not really into these comedy movies, and I'm not going to talk about him being in those Ted movies, but when he's most likely not going to be in a comedic role, to be up against someone like Will Ferrell, you kind of see how opposites might not always attract audiences, and I would say, in a way it kind of worked in this movie, but other times it didn't. You had Mark Wahlberg, who obviously he had to play this tough-looking guy, and he obviously had to have the hottest body that everybody, even Will Ferrell, was jealous of. Put on that shirt. And then you've got other actors in this movie like Linda Cardellini, who plays the mom and the wife. You've got Thomas Hayden Church, who obviously was really impressed by Mark Wahlberg, as well as Hannibal Buress. And I would say that the casting was okay and the acting was, whatever. So the things that I did like about this movie, obviously there were definitely some funny moments in this movie and things that I found to be really outrageous. I feel like a lot of times these characters were always trying to one-up each other with how they were going to impress the family, and I think those were definitely some funny moments, and especially trying to be nice to the kids and how they were going to be affected by this as well. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie, I would say that this movie is quite forgettable, and I feel like that's where this whole generic comedy comes into play, and by the end I really just didn't care about this movie anymore, and I guess there is a reason why, but I honestly can't explain it, and I feel like the acting wasn't enough to improve my opinion on, this comedy genre. And I just, maybe I wasn't as impressed with the narrative and the writing. So I feel like there were definitely a lot of things that really was either a hit or miss for me. So overall, I would say that Daddy's Home was not a really good comedy. It was really disappointing, so I wouldn't really recommend seeing this movie, even though there were some positives, but I would say the majority of the film was very, bad. So I would give this 2.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Daddy's Home, and what other Will Ferrell comedies do you like, and maybe those Ted movies if you want. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.